Good evening, folks.
Hello.
How y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing.
I'm here.
Darcy, you're working.
I am.
Good to see. Little T, are you here? Hello, everybody. Hello, John. Hello, Corey. Helen. Matt. Sam Squatch. Yeah, I started late. I I worked until pretty late this morning. I slept pretty much all day. So I haven't been up very long, actually. So, Darcy, I wanted to start off with your encounter. Are you prepared? Hello, Mary.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I always start off with, trying to find out where you were in the belief of Sasquatch before anything ever happened.
I always believed in the possibility ever since the Boggy Creek movie and the Patterson and Gimlin film.
Okay, and how old were you when this? Well, I know, but go ahead and tell the audience. How old were you when your first encounter happened?
I was 52. 51 when I first heard it.
When you first heard it and knew it was a Bigfoot? Or figured it, or thought, or whatever?
Well, I had already gotten the photo in the backyard, which you saw. And since I'd never heard that noise before, I pretty much figured it was it.
So you took this photo a while before you actually saw it then.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't you, describe the area and tell us what happened.
I moved into this place about a little over a year ago. Around my little farmhouse is surrounded by bamboo and woods. And my first thought, because I did believe in Bigfoot, I thought, what a great place it could be. Be careful what you wish for. We were settled in for about a week. And as I was telling you, I was chatting with my girlfriend and she wanted to see the picture of the bamboo in the backyard. Hence, that's where I got the photo and she sent it back to me with the figure in the backyard. Go about a week later, I'm sitting outside about 1:30 in the morning waiting for my roommate to drive up because she's nervous about walking across the yard because it's out in the country. So I'm sitting out there and all of a sudden I hear this deep guttural chested primal howl. And it was to the left of where I was sitting. And everything around me went off. The dogs, the coyotes, the deers took off. And within a matter of minutes, I took my happy ass back in the house. Um, Fast forward, it's beginning of spring, and throughout all this, you hear whistling, the wood knocks, and you figured, hey, it's probably one, but you don't know for sure. I walk out, 5 o'clock in the morning, had coffee in hand, was going to sit there and wait for the sunrise. And I hear this, I don't know how to say it, this heavy footfall, but it was louder than anything I had ever heard. And it was literally shaking me on the top stairs. As I looked to the right, it came into view. And my front yard has a overhead light that shines through the whole yard. And it came into view, and it was huge. It was massive. It was a light blonde color. I mean, a dark blonde to a light brown. And it was muscular. I've never seen anything move so fast in my life. And it jumped the ditch, and within 3 strides, it was in the road. The muscles on the shoulders, the biceps, triceps, his gluteus maximus, they were well defined, and it was huge. And I stood there for about 10, 15 minutes trying to process what I had just seen. Knew it wasn't a bear, knew it wasn't a deer, I knew it wasn't a coyote. It was on 2 legs, and it moved fast, faster than anything I've ever seen. I came into the house and I stood in shock for about 15 minutes. And since then, I don't leave my house unless I'm armed. And that's my Bigfoot story.
That's it. So it was in this Bigfoot was only what 10? What did we decide? 10 yards from you when you first saw it.
He was about, I think he figured it about 40 yards from where I stood. There was no way I misidentified it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Had it seen me, there's no way I'd have made it in the house with the rate of speed he was moving.
What state was this in?
North Carolina.
And you still live in this house now, right?
Yes, I do. I love it out here.
And do you hear things occasionally, or is it gone?
Oh yeah, I still hear the whistling, the wood knocking, and like I told you the other day, I was sitting outside and across the street because I was listening to one of your videos, and I happened to look up because a truck was going to be passing by, and I saw this tree just swing from side to side, and the shadow of the thing that pushed it moved away.
And this was on the other side of the road in front of your house?
Yes.
I'm going to zoom out so everyone can get an idea of the woodland around here. There you go. That's a lot of woods. And then you have this lake over here. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Then you have this rather large lake that is to the east of her. It's a great location for Bigfoot activity, in my opinion.
Well, I told you about, the person I rent from, his best friend had the same, described about the same encounter I had, and I don't even know the person.
And is this somebody nearby, near you, or?
About 5 miles from where I live.
Really, 5 miles? That's not far. Might be the same guy, same Bigfoot.
Well, the one in the backyard was dark, which you saw the picture of that one. You said it was probably about 8 feet tall, but the one I saw was lighter and bigger than that.
Okay, and the picture that she's referring to, folks, is right there. There you go. You can see it. Now, I have this partially zoomed in. Here, actually, I'll zoom it out so y'all can see the entire picture.
Keep in mind, I wasn't taking a picture of it. I was taking a picture of the bamboo.
Okay, that's the whole picture, folks. She was just taking a picture of the bamboo foliage in the back of her, behind her house. And if you look, you can, I mean, when she showed me this picture, that dark figure stood out like a sore thumb to me. At least what I thought, well, that's got to be what she's talking about. And then I zoomed in on it and figure, yeah, that's the figure. And I will zoom far enough in. Okay. If you get too far in, it gets so pixelated that you can't even tell what you're looking at. So I'm going to try and go in just to the point where I think, in my opinion, you can make the figure out without it being too pixelated.
We walked back there, and there's no pile of dirt or anything that showed.
What are you doing? Get over here and lay down. Okay, folks, now I'm going to use the mouse to point out. Here's the top of his head here. Comes down around here to his shoulder and then down. Now, blob squatch? Absolutely. I mean, you could not take this to a court of law and say, that's the guy, you know.
Most definitely.
But based on, why don't you go ahead and describe this area he's standing in, Dee Dee, because that was really what sold it to me.
Rick, my yard goes in a decline all the way back. So what you're seeing is it dips all the way down. And you did an estimation by using the porch steps, I think, to get approximate height of that.
Yeah, I figured he'd probably be about 8 feet tall, at least, because of the decline. Because you said, didn't you say the porch, where the porch steps are, and roughly, what did you say? He was 15 yards thereabouts back in the bamboo.
Yeah, but I was all the way in the front yard when I took the photo.
Right. Well, I'm just looking at what, and then it slopes downwards from the steps, correct?
Yes, it goes way down.
So, if you look at the location of the bottom of that banister and the top of his head, and imagine him being brought straight forward, not even up a hill, that would put him at about 6 feet high. And if that's only a 2-foot drop from where the ground level at the steps is, that would put him at 8 feet tall. So he's at least 8 feet tall, I would say.
That's what my brother figured it out to be, because he was joking about it being a bear until he approximated the height of it, and he said, no way was it a bear.
Did you hear anything, Darcy?
No, because it was early morning again, but it was, the sun had rose, and I was talking to my friend, and I was walking around the property, so I was just assuming he was watching me.
Right.
Keep in mind, that's before I heard the howl, the wood knocking, the whistling, and I hear that on a constant if I sit outside. That's a every week thing.
Well, that's scary in itself, right there.
Yeah, that's why when I come in late at night from work or I sit outside, I'm armed.
Dang right. Be safe.
Most definitely.
Okay, Sam Squatch wants to know if you heard anything when you were taking the photo that you might have disregarded, but he just wants to know if you actually heard anything out there when you took the photo.
I was talking to my best friend, and she believes in Bigfoot, and we were having conversations about it, and she's saying, wouldn't it be neat? So I was really paying attention to what she was saying versus really listening to my surroundings, because like I said, wouldn't it be great? And be careful what you wish for. And I know they're real. I no longer believe I know. And as frightening as it is, I'm glad I had the experience.
Well, as close as he was to your house, and where your house is located, you might be having more of those experiences, I would say.
Uh, yeah, and they're doing building around, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it.
Is what, running them out of where their normal hiding spaces are or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The trees are coming down. I think they're estimating about 60,000 people moving in over the next 10 years.
60,000. What, right where you are? I mean, that little tiny area. I forget the name of the town. You don't have to say
So
it if
it's
you don't want to.
Concure in the Pittsboro area.
Sorry, I'm giving people permission to talk in here. A bunch of people jumped in here. Yeah, those of you watching, if you want to share your own experiences, just go to the Discord, which is in the description, and I'll post a link in the chat here.
I'm
And
hoping to go to the Uri Park because it's about an hour from here, and do a little bit of investigating myself there.
yeah, I'd like to hear if you what goes on and everything, what you run across, what you find.
Oh, glad to share it.
I noticed Brown Dwarf hasn't been in here in a while. Ever since we said, "Hey, you need to come into the town hall and tell your stuff," he hasn't really been around since. So, have you had anybody? Did you talk to anybody about this? Have anybody out there like do any kind of an investigation, look for footprints, anything like that?
Um, I've talked to a couple of my friends, and like I said, that's how I found out about the other person. I talked to another gentleman at a old general store, and he does fishing on the lake out this way, and he says you can hear them mimicking different animals and stuff, and he knows, and he's originally from New Orleans, Louisiana,
That's
somewhere down that area.
down DD's way.
Yeah.
All right. But have you had anybody come out there and like go with you to look for prints or anything like that? Because you saw that thing the one time. You took a picture of
Yeah,
it
I
the
saw
other
it one
time.
time, but I wasn't going in the underbrush, not at beginning of spring because there's snakes, and I do not like snakes. However, I did get that print, and I showed it to you, even though it was bad,
Yeah.
going across my picture window area in the front of the house.
Well, what I was going to say is, you've seen it once. Well, actually, you could say twice because you saw it pass in front of your picture window, as you just talked about. And then there's the third time you took a picture of it. The thing's been around your property. So I'm not talking about just looking for footprints from that one day that it ran across and jumped the
Oh,
ditch.
I
It's
always look.
potentially,
I never see anything because I won't go into the underbrush or back in the bamboo. Not this time of year, anyway.
yeah, because potentially that thing's around your property nightly. So I mean, you don't want to go out there, but that's what I was saying. Have you ever had anybody else come out there and see if there's any footprints around there?
No, I haven't.
Do you know anybody around there? Have you contacted another Bigfoot group or anything like that?
I talked to someone from the North Carolina, a BFRO, but I never heard back from them.
Maybe it's not a big enough a deal for them that that thing was only 10 feet from your house and running away from you.
Evidently not.
I mean, you're in the situation you're in right now could escalate quickly. I mean, the thing's obviously been around your house on at least 3 different occasions, so it's around there frequently.
Yeah.
So
More than that, because like I say, I can be sitting out there drinking a cup of coffee and the whistling, and I think I mentioned about the huffing one night, thinking it was a buck. But the thing about it is there wasn't any buck around. My yard is lit up. I looked for it, and I could hear it huffing, and it went on for a good 30 minutes.
So Darcy, are you by yourself out there?
Yes, I am.
Maybe that's why this creature's looking in the window and stuff. He's checking everything out.
Do you have any outside freezers or anything like that?
No, nothing outside.
No. Is there an old smokehouse or anything that might have something he would be interested in that you might not even know about? Well, you talked about the well house, but
There's a well house in the front yard. There was the trailer on the other side of my property line. And then there's a little small neighborhood to the right, but really I'm secluded. Once the trees are in full bloom, my house is hard to see from the road because it's, blocked by the tree line.
right.
Do you have any fruit trees or nut trees around you?
No, just oak and bamboo and pine trees.
Yeah, Phoebe, that's actually what I'm trying to get at is if she's got some kind of a food source out and around there. There we go. Let's put a stop to it. Actually, there's one more thing I can do. Hold on, folks. Hey, whoever you are, kid, I noticed you had no friends in the background. Maybe that's your problem. Maybe you should go out and find some friends, and then you won't have to go around looking for YouTube channels and Discord channels to just say stupid stuff in. You'd actually have a life. Maybe even find a girlfriend. I thought there was a... Nope, not in here. That should take care of it anyway. Yeah, he probably is, Phoebe. Living in mommy's basement. Sitting there with his hot pocket in one hand and his Mountain Dew in the other hand. And his box of tissue next to him.
I don't think he realizes that we're all older and he really can't shock us.
All he's doing is... I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this video now. That's about all he's doing. All right, so does anybody else have a story that you want to come in here and tell? I know, Corey, you said something about wanting to tell a story or something. There he is again. Oh, he couldn't talk, so he left. That's a shame. So looking forward to his next bit of witty banter. Lord of Worlds, huh? What are you doing there, buddy? I see all of his settings changing. Yep, he's banned again. He's got multiple users. It's the same kid. He's come in with 3 different ones so far. John Skinner. I don't know. Pepperoni, maybe. Yeah, Corey, I saw his video on Fox. Well, actually, no, I don't think I did. I saw one he posted that was about when they We're trying to get Fox to come out of the basement or something like that. Okay, there was something we were going to go over when we were on the other day. See if I can find it. It had to do with something y'all sent me. So we talked about the LBL. See here.
Forestry tech.
So you spend a great deal of time in the woods.
I spend a lot of time in the woods.
A lot of times by yourself and sometimes with other folks.
Yes.
You told me earlier about a particular incident that happened around 2007. You were out with another tech.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what happened that day.
We were sent out to do a timber measurement, and we were having a hard time locating the area to get in close for our walk-in. And it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was driving the vehicle, the work vehicle at the time, and my passenger spotted something off on his side, on the right-hand side, and we drove right by whatever it was, and he was hesitant to tell me what that was. I had leaned in front of him because he was blocking my view, and what I had saw was something black in color. It wasn't heavy, it was sort of lean, and it was running away from us. And I put the truck in park, opened my door, stood up on the door sill so I could get a better view of it. And at that point, it was all I could see at that time was the back side of it. It was standing on two legs, or not standing, but it was running on two legs. And it had arm motion, and I could see the shoulders and eventually the head as well, all working separately, and not on four legs. It wasn't a bear. Whatever it was human-like. When this thing was running away from me, you could see the clear shoulder movement in it as it was running, and you could see the separation of the legs as it was going, and then it banked off or turned to its right, and then you could see as the gait was, as it was moving, it was still moving on two legs, because that's all you saw moving. And then you saw the arm swinging, and you saw the shoulder movement.
Now, you told me earlier that you then followed it to an area where it evidently, based on the tracks that you followed, went down a very steep area, and 2 days later you came back and found what appeared to be skid marks on that steep area.
At that time, I told him that there was something down there, that I was going to go take a look at it, see what it was. So as I'm walking down there, I'm finding large slide marks in about 70 to 80% slope, and I'm following these slide marks, and I'm looking back up, and I could see my coworker up there, and the tracks or the slide marks that I found hooked off to the left. I looked up again, he wasn't there. I couldn't see him, so I just called it off. I was doing, walk back up and come up with a plan of attack of how we were going to work this area. And on the process of going back up, I was looking at the slide marks again, and I looked up the hill, and I seen him running across the hillside, and then running down towards me, and then I seen a rock behind him, and he come up to me and he asked me if I had heard anything, and I was like, no, I didn't hear nothing. Asked me a couple more times, and I was like, no, I didn't hear anything. But I saw I saw the rock that you kicked loose. Then he's like, no, I didn't kick that rock loose. The rock was thrown at me.
The rock was how big?
The rock was about just a bit bigger than I guess a soccer ball, or it was a pretty good size. It was, well, it was a little bit bigger than my head was.
Hard for a human to throw very far.
I mean, if you're uphill, I mean, sure, you can throw a long ways down the hill, but what set it apart from, somebody else being in the area is that he heard these two large grunts before the rock, and he heard this blah, blah, and then he saw this.
He saw the rock coming.
He saw the rock actually being tossed because he was down here. It was up here. He did not have clear visual of what it was.
He couldn't see what threw it.
But he couldn't see. Yeah, he couldn't see what threw it. He just saw as it left. He saw the arc, and that's the way he told me. He says because it didn't roll down the hill. He said it had an arc to it. It was tossed at me, and it landed right behind me. And I told him, well, that's all I saw was the rock rolling down the hill and you running. And so he was on edge the rest of the day. And when we finished our workload down there, we had to walk back out, and we had to walk through the area where the rock was tossed. And so when we were working our way back up, he showed me an indistinct track and looked at it. Looked like a bear, because bears have that distinct, almost human-like form to it with what looked like toes. And I said, well, that looks like a bear to me. And so we continue our walk out, and then we were using the game trails to get out of there. And he goes, what about this one here? And I get down there and look at it, and I could see the heel, I could see the length of the foot, and I could see the toes in it. And I told him, there's your rock thrower. And then
How many inches?
it was 16 to 17 inches in length in that area. And I told him, I said, there's your rock thrower. And then after that, boy, you've never seen two guys walk out of a hillside that fast unless there was a fire down below,
Okay, that was a forestry worker telling a story. I guess the men in black didn't get to him and tell him to shut up. What can I do for you, Sadie? That one was, it was, let me see. Wasn't Sasquatch Chronicles, but Sasquatch Central. All right, who was asking about? Hi, Mike.
Hey, Rick, do you got Old Bear muted?
Old Bear. Hold on. Yeah. See who else might be muted. I'll turn that.
How's it going, Old Bear?
Got push to talk on. Should I turn it the other way?
No, push
Yeah,
the talk's
you're on.
fine. All right, there. Darcy, were you muted a second ago? When I muted those guys, it muted more than one person for some reason.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Am I muted?
No?
Nobody's answering me.
What? I just answered you. You're not muted. Oh, you might have been a second ago. I just said when I was muting those, the troll, it looks like it somehow muted like more than one person. So I had to go through here and check them all.
Yeah, it didn't amount to a whole lot anyway, so I'm glad I'm not now.
What you said didn't amount to a whole lot?
Yeah, I don't even remember it now. I'll have to think of something else.
Hello, Jody. It was in North Carolina. What's that lake near you, Darcy?
Lake Jordan.
North Carolina near Lake Jordan.
There's also Hall River.
No, I don't buy into the interdimensional being thing. The Miller document, Joel, was we actually talked about that a couple of nights ago. Brought it up. We talked about it for quite a while. What is there anything in particular you wanted to bring up about the Miller document? Yeah, Phoebe, it was Darcy. Geez, I actually expected that there would be several people in here to tell their story, so. And I've slept all day, so I don't really have anything. So if y'all have some topics to bring up and talk about, that would be good.
Hey, Rick, have you seen the movie Something in the Woods? It's on Amazon.
Is it a movie or a documentary? Because if they're movies, I usually don't watch them, so I probably wouldn't have seen it yet.
It's supposed to be based on a true story.
Let me have a look. Based on a true story. Hold on.
Something in the Woods. Well, it's set back in the 1966, 67. I don't like the creatures that they depict in it, but the storyline, it was really good.
Well, Jill, you can use Discord on a phone too. I don't know if it's work or phone you're talking about, but if it's just because of your phone, you can do that. Where the heck is search? Oh, there it is. Something in the woods, huh? Actually, I should probably do this on me. Sadie, you leave him alone. Something in the woods. All right, can you hear it? I don't think you can because I'm going through my other mark now. Are you just recommending it because it's a good movie or what?
Well, I was on YouTube and I heard a short version of this movie, and it was supposed to be based on a true story. I did like the movie though because the setting was set just right, the clothes, the scenery, the trucks, so it's set for a good story.
The Bigfoot. That's our topic. Phone callers, get ready. Caller number 1, what do you think about Bigfoot?
No.
Yeah, I saw him out on Fall Road 9 just north of town the other day out by Caddo Lake. Going out there doing some fishing and he's come running across the road. I thought it was a big old black bear at first and then I looked at him and no, it was something else for sure, and I think it was the Bigfoot.
You're satisfied he's real?
Yes, I believe.
All right, caller number 2, what do you think?
Yeah, I saw him about 2 mornings ago. He comes tearing through my garden. I run and got my shotgun and took me a pot shot at him, and I think I might have hit something because he let out a scream that'll curl your eyebrows. Yeah, I believe.
Well, those callers believe it. What do you think?
I'm
Is he
using
really
my
real?
phone for Discord
More
and
after
watching
this break.
YouTube separately.
Bigfoot.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, son, how are you doing?
All right. You need any help with anything?
Yeah, can you help me put that plant in the wheelbarrow and get that up to the house there? By the way, lunch will be ready in a bit. Your mom made sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, she told me on the way over here. Sounds great. Hey, Dad, I was thinking...
I don't like how they
what's on your mind?
the costume of the creature,
Really,
but I
on
like
way
the
over here, I was
storyline.
just thinking about some of those stories that the loggers were telling back when I was a kid around the shop about some creature that came up and messed with the guy's house and family one night. Was there any truth to that, or was that just tall tales?
That was a long time ago. What made you bring that up?
It was just back in high school. There was this time when I heard some screaming out in the woods. I never told you about it.
Well, I didn't want to tell you then because I didn't want you to be afraid of the woods.
Well, I'm not a kid anymore, so spill it.
Well, it's a long story. How about We get this wheelbarrow
It's
back to
Ralph.
the house, get us some lunch, and I'll tell you everything I remember.
All right, deal. My dad worked in the lumber industry his whole life and grew up in the woods. He took over the company when my grandfather passed. I remember hearing stories from the men at the mill. Something had gone on before I was born, and it involved the foreman, John Hartman.
That sure was good, Mom.
Thank you, son. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Did you get enough, son?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm stuffed.
Honey, Mike and I are going to go out in the patio for a bit. You see my pipe?
Same place you left it before, dear.
Here it is, right in my pocket. Guess I'm losing it.
Yes, I think you are.
Come on, son.
John was a bright, down-to-earth, hard worker.
All right, folks, that's called Something in the Woods. It's on Amazon. I'll have to watch that sometime. I would play it on here, but YouTube frowns upon that kind of thing. If we were on Twitch, I could play it. Okay, well, why does it seem like everyone's not here? In Discord, rather, you know. Amy? Darcy.
I'm here.
Who's Paula? Oh, she's not in here. Teresa.
You skipped the boy seeing the creature outside.
I did what now?
The little boy saw the creature the first time.
Oh, okay. Yes, Dee Dee is missing. Who else?
Matt just left.
Oh, OG. That's the other one that's usually here.
Is it just me, or is everything a little messed up tonight with audio and I don't know what?
The audio's messed up?
Yeah, there for a while it was like the audio was on and then it was like it was still on, but maybe a little faster, both of them at the same time.
Well, I switched from my mic to my my webcam so that y'all wouldn't get that echo.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Okay.
I'll show you. I'll switch it back and tell me if this is what you're talking about. Okay, this is my main mic.
That sounds better.
It sounds better, but now you can hear yourselves talk. That's where that loop comes from.
Ah, okay. I don't hear myself talk, but that's okay.
You're not hearing yourself talk right now?
Well, you know what I mean. It's not playing back at me.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You're not hearing like
Yeah.
yourself talking back like in a loop or an echo?
No. No.
Oh,
Loop
maybe.
is the right word.
Maybe it's working the way it's supposed to tonight.
Yeah, I don't hear any talk back or any feedback from the mic, Rick.
I'm not getting any feedback.
Oh, well, it was the other day. I guess it's working right. That's good.
Marcy, don't you feel like you're being targeted?
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Targeted by what? The Bigfoot?
Yeah, it's like It's playing with her.
Well, he can play peekaboo. Just stay away, and we're okay.
Did you mean to rhyme? It's okay to play peekaboo. It's okay to play peekaboo. Just stay away, and we're okay.
Yeah,
I think that's a poem.
Let live, I say, but just don't come near me. We're okay. What I had was enough. If I never see it again, I'm okay with it, because it scared the shit out of me, to be quite frank.
One'll do you, that's for sure.
I think when she sees something, you can't unsee, I guess is what I want to say.
So, Corey, are you still in here? Corey, are you still in here? In the chat?
Hey, Darcy, how far was it away from you when you saw it?
I want to say we figured about 40, 50 yards.
That's not too bad. That's about normal from what I've done a little research on them, and most accounts say 40 to 50 yards.
No. It was 40 to 50 feet, not yards.
Oh, feet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. When you first saw it, I think it was 30 feet, I think. If I remember right. I can measure it again here. Hold on.
Let's put it like this. I got a bird's eye view. I mean, I was right there. I could see it. There's no way I mistook it for a bear, and a bear can't run that fast on two legs.
Yeah, it was 15 yards when she first saw it. Or 45 feet.
Right, 45 feet, yeah. Well, that's better than what I had to deal with.
That was close enough for me.
Well, that's the thing. That's very close.
Like I said, had it seen me, I would not have made it in my front door. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I saw one 30.
That's who else was missing. True to form.
And when I saw that one, it was at 15, maybe 20 feet.
That's a close call.
When you saw what?
When I saw the Bigfoot when I was 16, it was like 15
yeah.
to 20 feet. Yeah, it was pretty close, and it was kind of a surprise to it and surprise to me both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this one was running away towards the street, the one I saw. I don't know if it was chasing something or running from something.
I would say it's probably chasing something. They don't run from very much. There ain't very many animals can stand up to them.
I don't think many of them can escape it as fast as it moves.
I don't know, because you were going out there to have your coffee in the morning. I'm wondering if it wasn't just running out because it wanted you to see it.
I don't know, because it was coming from the back of the house when I first heard it.
Right. But
or either I started it when I walked out and it was at the corner of the house. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking, if you get your coffee, then you walk through the house towards the front door. Then you go out the front door, the door closes, and it runs past you. So I think it heard you walking through the house. Maybe it was even watching you through the window. And it timed it. It wanted to run past there so that you would see it. Potentially.
Yeah, that's a thought.
Because it had to hear you rummaging around, making your coffee, walking, you know, all that stuff. Had to hear you. If it was right
For
there
sure.
next to the house. What's that?
I said for sure it probably did hear me.
No, it was, I think it was, Old Bear that said something.
Yeah, yeah, it would have probably heard her going through the house, and for it to
What are you
want
whining
you
at
to
me
see
for?
it, that means a lot. I mean, that's kind of different. That's new.
All right, folks. I think I have to let my dog out. She's whining at me. I'll be right back.
Could you tell if it was an uh, older Bigfoot, or was it a juvenile, or do you have an idea what it might have been there, Darcy?
Yeah, that stupid kid that come running in here yelling obscenities and that. When I banned him, it asked me to fill out a report of why I was banning him, so he may have lost his Discord privileges at this point. I hope.
Needs to lose more than that.
Hey, is Brett muted on your end or his?
I mean, Brett's not even in here. Where'd he go?
He was.
I know, I saw him before I went to let my dog out. I don't see him now. He might be, because I did a server mute. Matt, you're muted? Yeah, okay. I did a server mute, and it's supposed to mute everybody, but it doesn't. It mutes some people and not others, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it does and who it's muting. So it muted Matt. And I guess
Thank you.
I guess it muted True to Form, even though he wasn't in here.
Well, if you log out and then come back in, you're going to be muted.
Well, maybe that's what the server mute does. I guess I should read the docs. So I guess True to Form took off.
What, for good?
Yeah, I'm not seeing him in the chat. He was just in here. Remember yesterday he thought I kicked him out after that thing with Dee Dee? Was it yesterday? No, the day before.
Yeah,
Maybe
I know.
he thinks I've got him muted now intentionally. He wasn't here to enjoy the trolls that I was banning and muting.
Yeah, you got to figure something out to take them trolls out. What do you do? Just mute them?
What the hell are you doing? No, I actually had it changed so that everybody could talk when they came in, because originally I had it everyone was muted when they first came in. And then I would have to unmute them. Well, it was kind of getting to be a pain in the butt as everyone tried to come in. So I set it to where everyone could talk, and wouldn't you know it, the first time we got that kid coming in here. So I changed it back to where people can't talk when they first come in. I have to give them permission. I have to put them in the talk role. People who just come in here, they're like they have different roles. Like everyone is everyone, and that one has no permission to talk. So all of you are in the role that's called talk. So you can talk. So that should put a stop to it. But that means that when people come in here, if they want to tell their story, they have to go in the chat and say that they want to tell their story, and then I have to give them permission to talk. Problem is, that doesn't stop trolls from coming in here, because they'll just go in there and say, hey, I got a story, I want to talk, and then you give them permission to talk, and they do exactly what he just did. You really can't stop it.
Right, I guess.
Who's Paula? I see some typing in here, but I don't see her anywhere. Paula, if you're, well, I don't know if you're going to hear me. You'd have to be in YouTube to hear me. Yeah, we've talked about missing 411. In public. And then Joel, I guess Joel jumped in here, but I don't see him anywhere. He's online. Well, Darcy's gone too. I gotta stick to doing them at midnight, man, because this is just terrible. I thought I'd do one during the day so people would have an opportunity to come in and tell their story, but it doesn't appear anyone wants to do that other than Darcy.
Yeah, right. Not used to the time.
Well, I'm talking about the people who can't, because I've had many people email me and say that they can't, get in there at that time because they have to go to sleep to go to work. That's why I scheduled it earlier.
Oh, okay.
And at least one person who said they had a story to tell was in the chat. I invited him to the town hall to tell his story, and then that was the last I seen of him. He disappeared. So, and I was going to go over Dee Dee's audio tonight, but when I tried to pull it up and do some enhancement on it, there was an issue with the encoding because it's an M4A code or format. Which reminds me, I'll do a little bit here. For those of you who want to record vocalizations and sounds out in the woods, you know, and that kind of thing, you need to get an audio recorder that will record in raw format, like a wave file. That gives you the entire spectrum of sound that you're hearing when you use MP3, M4A, or M2A, which probably wouldn't be, that's DVD, but any of those other formats that are they're compressing it, and what they do is it pulls the audio in, and the first thing it does is cuts off everything that's outside the bounds of human hearing. So if you were going to record, if you could have recorded infrasound, it won't be in the recording. It'll cut it out. And anything that's below, like the volume's too low, the volume's too high, it'll clip it or it'll drop it out. So what you end up with is only what's in the middle, where the encoding algorithm thinks you actually want to hear it. And so you really need to get the raw. You get the raw, then you can pull it into a program like Audacity and enhance it. And you can amplify it, you can do noise filters, you can do all kinds of stuff to bring out the audio of the tree knocks or the howls or whatever.
Well, good. That's good to know. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, if you use anything that stores it in MP3 or MP anything, it's going to compress it. And that's going to destroy any audio that you're recording.
There's True to Form's on and Darcy's back on.
Oh, True to Form. Hold on, let me see if you're muted. Yep, you were. I had to mute some troll that came in here and started screaming obscenities and all that kind of crap, so I did a server mute. I muted everybody.
Him and Darcy are still muted.
Well, I just unmuted him. Yeah,
That's on her end then.
He's not muted anymore. Darcy is. Hold on, Darcy. There you go. Can you talk now? There you go.
So, Darcy, I got a question.
Well, opinions are welcome too, Joel.
Did you see any facial features, Darcy?
You too, John.
It was so tall. You have to remember it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's early spring. The trees have not filled in yet. So I had a clear view, but it was so tall that the head of it was in the darkened area where the light didn't light up.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yes. But I could see the shoulder width, how he tapered down. I mean, I had a clear view, the color, everything.
The one you saw, was it a juvenile or was it a full, full grown one?
It's a full grown. It was massive. My brain was trying to figure out what I was actually looking at, because some of the stuff you see on YouTube and other things, it does not do it justice when you actually see one.
Yeah, the videos I've seen on YouTube of them, they're nowhere close to what they actually look like.
Let's just say I wasn't prepared for what I saw. I've had people say, "Why didn't you take a picture?" It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't had my first cup of coffee.
Yeah, what can they expect at 5 o'clock in the morning? It's kind of tough to do. I mean, you're just waking up and you're getting motivated for the day. You're not going to be ready to take a picture and all that.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi, little T.
Hi, Big T, Little T.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Good evening, Rick.
Hi. Hey, true to form, you are not muted on my end. I'm looking at it right now. There's no mute on you.
Yeah, true to form. You got to go in your settings. Don't forget.
This might be, isn't it? Didn't this happen to you the other night too when you thought I muted you then? Or no, you got kicked out then. I don't know. Yeah, I checked that you are not muted.
He shows muted on my list here of everyone.
Yeah, I see it too, but he's in the talk role and he's not muted. So this is on his end. Maybe you have to click on your microphone icon to unmute it on your side. All right,
Hi, Teresa.
My dog's barking up a storm. I gotta go let her in.
There's true to form. How you doing, buddy?
Hey. Tired. I've been on my bike all day riding. I rode up to Clearwater, see a buddy of mine, and then we rode over to Plant City, hooked up with some other friends of mine.
On a mountain bike or dirt bike or what?
No, my Harley.
All right.
I've been out riding all day. I miss Hasty. I just kind of caught bits and pieces of what you were saying. Where did your sighting happen at? What state?
North Carolina.
Oh yeah, what part of the state?
I live in Moncure.
Okay, yeah. Just recently, or not too long ago, I was actually in Wilmington for 2 years. I don't know if you're familiar with the Wilmington area.
Yeah, that's about 150 miles from where I live.
Hey, Darcy, how long have you lived there?
A little over a year now.
Okay. I wonder if that's one that's just like passing through, or maybe it's looking for a mate too.
Barking up the wrong tree here.
If you're having, like, if you feel it around you and all on a regular basis, do you feel like it's escalating?
I think it's curious. I think the house stood empty for a long time.
You'd think that, if you have neighbors, even if they're not close, and you have traffic on the road and stuff, that it'd be it'd be what I'd want to call, kind of like street smart.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if it's a loner or if he's got friends around.
Well, keep in mind the picture I took in the backyard, it was a dark one. The one I saw was a lighter color.
Uh-oh.
So, I'm not sure.
Wait a minute.
think-
Darcy, you're saying that the one you photographed and the one you saw were both a different color?
Yes, the one I saw was a light blonde to a light brown.
So you get
The one photograph is dark.
You get two of them milling about your house.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. And I think should be a little unnerving for you.
Like I said, I don't go out unless I'm armed now. One thing I know, the one I saw, I don't think a shotgun would stop him. It would have to be a rifle.
Oh, thanks, Brian and Katrina. I appreciate that.
I'm Katrina.
Who is?
Darcy.
Well, you're Darcy. Why? You're Katrina too?
I have two email accounts.
Okay, well.
But I'm really Darcy.
All right, thanks, Brian. The heck with Katrina. And thank you, Darcy. No,
So
you
the
don't.
twos-
You don't
the
want to.
twos-
You don't want to gift a Sasquatch. I'm answering
I
chat.
am
Sorry.
not giving him anything. I don't even leave my trash outside. I take it to the dumpster where I work out every morning.
I'm not talking to you, Darcy. I'm John Skinner in the chat. He was saying something about he's heard people gift things, and I'm just making a comment that you do not want to do that. I wasn't saying that you were doing that. I actually asked you questions about that to find out if by accident you were doing that. And it sounds like there's nothing.
No. I make a point to take it to my job to the dumpster every day. I don't leave it out.
Sounds like you're pretty hyper aware, aren't you?
After that, yes, most definitely. It's unnerved me. I don't feel at this point that it's threatening towards me. I think it's more of a curiosity.
Just don't let your guard down.
Or it might be just going about its business and trying to have as little effect or interaction with you as possible. Except for I kind of think that one wanted you to see it. Is that the very last thing that's happened with them? Was that you saw that one?
I saw that one, and then 3 days ago, like I told you about the tree.
Oh yeah.
And I know what I saw. You know, I saw it when it moved away, and it just, like it was going to snap the tree, but the tree was too big, and it went back vigorously back and forth.
Yeah, maybe it's I mean, hopefully not, but maybe it's escalating. First it's peeking in the trees, then it lets you see it run through the yard, and then it's over there shaking the tree in front of you. I don't know.
What's getting me is that other than the one at 5 in the morning, it's daylight that I'm actually seeing it.
All right, what was 5 in the morning? Was that the one that ran away?
Yes.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, it almost sounds like they're slowly trying to get more braver, maybe. Like they're coming closer and closer, making themselves a little known, make themselves a little more known. You might start getting slaps on the house and stuff.
The worst I've had is the door handle jiggling.
Oh.
And that was, yeah, I just thought about it. About 3 months ago, it was about 2 in the morning.
Oh, hell no. That would just freak me right the hell out. I'd be shooting through that damn door.
Oh, I was cussing, telling it to get the hell away from my door. Or I said whoever it was. And I did my shotgun.
Yeah, I think it sounds like they're working up the courage to get closer and closer and more known. And who knows what else after that. But if I were you, I would ask the people in the house next to you and the people in the trailer. Well, you said the people in the trailer weren't there when any of this happened. But if you start to notice...
They just moved in about a month ago.
Yeah, if you start to notice more stuff, when did the tree shaking happen?
3 days ago.
Yeah, well then I'd go ahead and ask both of your neighbors, the people in the mobile home and the people in the house on the other side, and see if they've had anything or heard anything. Because it might, I don't think it's just you, because you live between those two. They might be just going and checking all three. If they are just focusing on you, I'd be concerned about that. Maybe it has to do with you being alone and they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought about that. I wouldn't know how to approach somebody I don't know. Hey, have you seen Sasquatch around? I mean,
Sasquatch.
how do you approach something like that, And I have to tell you, when I first moved here, and the person I'm renting from, he made a point to say there was a bear around.
Yeah. Well, I would do
I think that was his mistake. It's not a bear.
Well, maybe he was doing what you should do, and that's go to your neighbors and say, hey, have y'all had like either kids or a bear or something messing around in your yard and that kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? And then you don't have to say Sasquatch, and they'll say, oh, yeah, I've noticed something's been messing around in the yard,
Oh, yeah, they're tearing down the bamboo now.
Who is? People or Sasquatch?
The neighbor.
Yeah, so that kind of sounds like maybe they have had something going on. They're trying to get rid of the bamboo so nothing can hide.
That's what I'm thinking, yes.
Hey, Browndorf. I was just talking about how you've been scarce for a while. Yeah, I would suspect that they've had something going on. How many people live there, do you know?
I think 3. A mother, 12-year-old child, and the father.
Huh. Is the father a truck driver or anything where he's gone for a long time?
I'm not sure because the hours that I work. I try not to be a nosy neighbor.
Well, there's comfort in that you have company, I would guess, based on them tearing down that bamboo. Which means you're not, I would be very concerned if they're experiencing nothing and you're the only one. That would mean it has to do with you being alone. And that is a predatory thing. I mean, that's how hunters work in the wild. They isolate the straggler, the one that's by itself, and they go for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what that would sound like to me. But if they're checking out all 3 houses, that's probably just curiosity and that kind of thing.
I'm going to go with curiosity.
Or you can, maybe your neighbor, one of them, is leaving crap out in the yard that they're coming and eating, and now they're checking your house to see if you're also leaving something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was seeing it before the neighbor was there. So I'm not sure what it is. I don't feel threatened. I feel unnerved, but not threatened.
Well, as I recall, the only neighbor that wasn't there was the one in the mobile home. The other one was there, right?
Correct, but they're not home a lot.
Well, I'm saying they might have something out or in their garage or whatever they have there that attracted the Bigfoot, and now the Bigfoot is expanded out to check your house and the next house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
That could be a possibility because it is a small neighborhood on the right side of me, so...
Do you think they could have been, like, new to the area or something, and they're just kind of checking out their territory?
Or either they feel like I invaded it because this house stood empty for years.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Well, if you get scared, I'd set up some game cams because the story about them. They don't like game cams.
Well,
that's what I've heard.
Well, she has a security light that lights up her whole property. What shape was?
They don't like lights either.
What shape was the house in when you moved in? I mean, maybe the Sasquatch was squatting. Maybe it was using it as a shelter, and then you moved in.
I don't know because they redid, like the outside doesn't look the greatest, but the inside they remodeled it completely.
I might look around for evidence that, like, even though they've remodeled, anything that looks like, something may have been coming in and out of here, or that looks a little oddly worn, you know, like, for instance, a Bigfoot that's 8 foot tall is going to have to duck to go through a door. And if it's been living there for any length of time, you might find strands of hair in the jamb across the top of the door, or maybe a little wear where he's been rubbing across it a lot, you know. Just odd stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, not that I've noticed, but I don't know how to describe my front door. The door they have up now is not the original door. And when they reframed it, it's not framed correctly.
Well, did they replace the door, do you know?
No, I don't know. But it's a wood door with a glass frame in the center of it.
Yeah, generally you don't replace the frame when you replace a door, unless the frame's damaged. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that the original frame was damaged.
Which would happen if a Bigfoot, you know, smashed the door in to get inside.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, just spitballing.
I think the landlord was kind of full of it when he was talking about a bear.
Yeah, considering what his friend had said to him. He didn't find what I said to him crazy at all.
Ask the landlord or his friend if the bear is the one why they had to replace the door.
I think maybe I should.
Yeah. Say, did that bear by chance like break that door down?
Yeah, I can see me saying that now.
Well, I mean, it's a way of asking without saying Bigfoot, you know.
Oh, I've had a conversation with his name's Jeff. That's how I found out about his friend coming face to face with it. And he's also got a great footprint impression where, you know, you saw mine and you could just barely make out the outline because it's on, you know, hard ground and gravel.
Yeah. There's in the chat, Richard wants to know if you know what the reason for the vacancy was. Why was it empty for so long?
Not a clue.
Okay.
I dare to say it was probably empty for so long was because it came through the front door, destroyed that front door, and tore the house apart. And that's why it was empty so long. He couldn't rent it because it was destroyed on the inside and he had to remodel.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really what it's shaping up to look like to me.
Well, as long as it stays on the outside, I stay on the inside. Live and let live.
Well, I mean, more than likely when it broke in, nobody was living there. So, like, somebody moved out. And then it said, oh, here's my chance. And it broke down. It went inside looking for stuff. Because they might have left their garbage out all the time. Maybe it was eating all the time, you know what I'm saying? And then they moved out. So it breaks down the door to see if they left anything inside, you know?
Well, I was just thinking that the bamboo is what's attracting them.
Why? You think they're eating it?
Yeah, because I can go back there. I mean, like right now we've got a little storm damage, so I know the difference. But there are pieces, and you know how hard bamboo is to break and to bend.
Yeah.
And there are some that get snapped off. And I'm like, okay. You know, so I'm thinking they, you know, like they were saying earlier, opportunity eaters. Whatever is available, they're going to eat.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. I know that, is it panda bears that eat bamboo? And I think
so.
I think Gigantopithecus was supposed to eat similar to a panda. It's supposed to eat like bamboo and stuff like that. So it's not
I really think that's what attracts them. Yes.
out of the realm of possibility if that's the case.
Jace, do you realize how much strength it takes to snap off bamboo?
This is green.
That's what I was saying.
It's green bamboo.
It's still strong.
What's that? What was that, Matt?
Green bamboo is still tough.
Oh, I'm sure, but I think it gets tougher when it dries out.
My brother tried snapping it, and he couldn't snap it.
I've never had the chance.
I think I'd be getting me a bigger gun than a shotgun.
If you're gonna use a shotgun, you need some some triple-aught buck and aim for the kneecaps.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I don't think it would irritate it more than anything. I want to get a high-power rifle. Is what I want to get.
Get a 45-70. I've looked into it. That's the best rifle you can get.
45-70, you said?
Yeah.
That's what my brother said.
You can also get, who was it? Oh, he's not in here anymore. Where the hell did he go? True to form, where are you, man? Anyway, he said something about the Special Forces, the Brennicky Special Forces shotgun for 12 gauge slugs. And I had said the Black Magic Magnum is more powerful. Well, I went back and looked at it again. Evidently, I don't know if they've changed or if it's a new round, but the one he told me to look at, it's a little more powerful, which is surprising because it's a smaller. The Black Magic Magnum is a 3-inch shell, and the one he's talking about was 2.5 or whatever it is. The next one there, so it's
2 3/4.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't have as much of a load in it, but evidently it's the way that they've designed it. The only thing that I would worry about with that particular slug is that it is it's an alloy, so it's designed not to mushroom. It's designed for penetration.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I had a question. Would a 45-70 penetrate the hide on a Bigfoot?
Well, it'll kill an elephant.
Oh, okay. So it's a hollow point bullet?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of rounds for it, but you can get, I think it's up to a 350 grain ball for it.
So how long is the shell?
Oh, it's a big one. It's quite large. You know.
5 caliber?
Oh, no, it's 45 caliber.
Oh dear.
45-70. Yeah.
The 45-70 was designated that because it was a 45 caliber bullet with 70 grains of black powder behind it. That's why they call it 45-70.
Right. It takes
so 40. I'm sorry, I was just going to say, so a 30-06 has nothing on a 45-70.
Well, actually, a 30-06 uses the new powder. It's a 30 caliber bullet, and you can get it all the way up to, I think, 280 grains.
Yeah, 180 grains.
Yeah, the 45-70 has a lot more stopping power, though. From my research, anyway.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
So 30-06 is more penetration and that kind of thing. And, like you said, it's the round isn't as heavy. And the 45-70 has more stopping power because it hits much harder. Because the black powder burns slower, so when it hits with a much more of a thud. Whereas the 30-06 was much more, it just go right through him. So you might put a hole through his shoulder instead of taking his shoulder off.
So 45-70 has more percussion.
Yeah, it hits harder. and the round will
Yeah.
just tear them up a lot worse. From my research, but I've never used a gun. I've never used a 30-06. I mean, the only rifles I've ever used is M16 and M60, that kind of stuff. So I've researched, and from my research, the 4570 is the most likely candidate to take down a Bigfoot. It's something that can take down an elephant, a grizzly bear, that kind of thing. So I don't.
How much? How much do they cost?
I looked to buy one at Cabela's, and it was $600.
That's not too bad.
my Goodness, ham and bologna, cheese and crackers.
Hey, if it's going to protect me, it's worth it.
So Matt, what is your? Are you familiar with 4570s at all? You sound like you're familiar with 30-06.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all 30 caliber.
Yeah.
I truly believe 30 cal will take them down.
You
I
think
really
so?
do.
What, like a
'Cause you get
300?
You get a 180 grain bullet with a soft nose. It's going to mushroom like crazy.
But would it have to be a headshot?
I don't believe so personally. I think it'll take them down if you give center of mass or heart shot.
Yeah, if I was going to use a 30-06 or something like that, I would probably use a jacketed round because I would want it to go through them, and I would do it with the intention of doing a precise shot through the heart. You know what I mean? Or through the head or whatever, a kill shot. Whereas a 4570 I'm talking about is so that I can just raise it, pull the trigger, and I know it's going to mess him up. And then I'm going to come in there and get him. That was my theory.
Well, yeah, you also got to think about the recoil too. You have to pump more rounds into them,
Yeah. You talking about it'd be more
Well-
painful? Is that what you're saying?
Either way, there'd be no going back.
I
You
just
know,
want to, if I have to, be able to get away. Stop it and get away.
If that's what you want to do, I would go with the 12 gauge and kneecap him. I don't care how badass he is. You shoot him in the kneecaps, he's going down. Assuming you have.
You better.
Assuming you hit him with a hard enough, like triple up buck in a 12 gauge high brass, high power round.
If you really feel that threatened that you have to have a big ass gun, then when you get that gun, you better be going on a regular basis and going somewhere and practicing. And you better get, because it's going to kick you big time.
Oh, I wouldn't get one that I wouldn't practice with, Teresa. Not at all.
Right in the rope.
I don't know if I feel threatened. I feel unnerved. I mean, living alone, period, should make a woman feel unnerved. But knowing what's out there now, it unnerves me. I don't feel threatened by it yet. But I do feel very unnerved knowing it's out there now.
Well, being as you got a 12 gauge already, I would, in the distance you're going to shoot from, I would feel safe with that 12 gauge.
Okay.
I would get you some slugs.
Well, slugs, she has to be accurate with some buckshot. She could just kind of fire for effect almost, As long as she's aiming somewhere around his knees, she'll hit him, with a slug.
Well, I've got buckshot.
What's that?
I said I've got the buckshot.
What do you think, Matt? Do you agree? I mean, if she's going to use a slug, she's got to be able to hit what she's aiming at.
Of course, yes. But a buckshot, you might just piss it off.
Well, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
what I was saying. I don't want to get something and use something on it and then it's still gonna piss it off, and then I'm like up shit's creek without a paddle.
Well,
right. You gotta aim that gun. You make sure where your bullet's going.
Well, yeah, that's why I was saying go for the knees. And I mean, obviously you have to aim anything to some degree. But what I'm saying is you don't have to have the precision of a sniper. like you would have to with a slug. Not, not expert sniper, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have
Right.
to really draw a bead on that thing. You can just kind of, roughly aim it and pull a trigger, and that buckshot's going to scatter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have a question. Is it Darcy that was talking about buckshot?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you use buckshot, would it be comparable or comparable to be like throwing pea gravel at them?
That's what I was asking.
No, double-aught buckshot is like a 30 caliber round.
But doesn't it depend on how far away it is? The farther away it goes, the less accurate it is.
Well, if it's that far away from you, you shouldn't be shooting at it anyway. It has to be within, say, 40 yards of you, and then shoot for the knees. What do you think, Matt?
Well, like I say, I wouldn't want that thing crawling toward me on on his belly.
Well, that's where you do go ahead and get a Brennecke Black Magic slug, 3-inch slug, and when he gets close, just put it right in the back of his skull. End of story.
Yeah, or right in the face. But I would go buckshot slug. Is it a pump or is it a semi-auto?
Pump.
Yeah, just alternate your rounds.
I would load your shells buckshot slug.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me is they say that they're never alone. So it's like, how many can I knee?
Good question, Amy.
Well, let me give you a little bit of insight on this, because I know about penetration. There's a small problem with using the buckshot and trying to kneecap one. How thick is the hair on a Bigfoot? You have to go through that. And if you're shooting at 40 yards with buckshot, you have reached the outside edge of the effectiveness of the buckshot.
Now that's a thought.
Because I've used buckshot on bear and I've used buckshot on deer, and once you get to 40 yards, you're just trying to really tick it off real good. If it's a bear, you'll get hurt.
Well, with 12 gauge, I wouldn't shoot no less than 15 feet from me.
Ain't getting that close
to me.
Yeah, I don't want them that close though. But 20 feet, 20 yards would be fine.
The thing.
Sorry, Teresa, go ahead.
You talk about it and everything, but when you're in the moment and, you fear for your life and you got to do something to protect yourself, that means you got to stand your ground. And that means them nerves have to go away for you to be able to do what you need to do. And I wonder how many people would actually be able to do that.
Well said.
Well, I tell you, Teresa, the morning I saw it, I went into shock. I don't know how I would react if I actually had to protect myself.
Where do you live, Darcy?
I live in North Carolina. I mean, I was raised around guns. I've been shooting all my life, but it's different. I mean, I think if my kids were around, yeah, I would have no problem. But for myself, I don't know.
Darcy, you're better off to go with straight slugs. Does it have a stock on it and everything, or is it the pistol grip?
It has the stock.
I would suggest you go get the biggest slugs that you can find for deep penetration. Aim for the chest. You blow out its lungs, it's not going to come after you. It's not going to be able to breathe. When nothing can breathe, it goes into shock It sends the body into complete shock, and when you destroy a lung, you destroy its will to move.
That's right.
I'm not
Well,
sure even a black magic magnum would penetrate the chest muscles though, and the ribs.
here's the thing. How thick is the skin of a Bigfoot? You were acting like it's gonna, it's like a bear or a deer, but what if it's more? Because the muscle mass on this thing is huge.
Well, if you're close enough, a black magic magnum, say for instance, if you're say 10 feet from him, it's going to take him out. More than likely, because them things penetrate like 2 or 3 feet of ballistics gel. So they're going to go, although that is set for human density, but if their muscle is more dense, probably not as far, but I still think it'll get through. But if he's any farther away than that, you got to aim. In my opinion, I would go for his knees because that's the weakest part of a bipedal animal. But
Okay, so is the Black Magic Magnum the same as a 45-70?
no, that's a 12 gauge round.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I've got a question here. If, we're talking guns and this and that and the other, best thing to do is just get the hell away and don't piss it off. And
I
but
agree.
We're talking.
how you gonna do that?
We're talking about, if
agree.
this is all you got to. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, it's like a fight or flight. You always want to back away from a confrontation first. If all else fails, then open fire.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the chances of if you try to run away, it's going to rip your head off.
Yeah, that's why you gotta try to de-escalate, and if you can't, if it looks like you get no other option, get your 12 gauge.
Right. Don't run. Never run. Back away from them, but don't run.
And here I was thinking about running.
Never turn your back.
That's like running from a tiger. It's going to come after you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, any predator, as soon as you run from them, their instinct kicks in to attack.
Thousands die every year in Far East India from tiger killings. India citizens.
Yeah, and instinct says run, 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 but don't do it.
I just hope it don't come down to that, because I love where I live at.
Yeah, well, you hope it don't.
Yeah. I heard they're pretty thick in your neck of the woods, Darcy.
Actually, Richard, he said he's made a comment here. He said best bet is shoot center mass. You eat up muscle till you inflict damage. Actually, if you can hit that damn thing center of its chest, you're gonna mess it up because that's where the sternum is. There is no muscle tissue. That will take him out definitely. But I'm an expert marksman, and in that situation, I don't know that I would be able to put a shot right dead on his sternum like that, with a tense situation. So it'd be a tough call. If you can do that, absolutely, right center of the chest, and he's going down.
I have a question. Are they predators, or are they, like you hear some of them are nice?
No, they're predators. They're not flute players, no. They don't.
Well, see, that's what I saw. I'm gonna tell you, it scared me. It put me in shock. I've heard people saying with their mouth dropped open. I can tell you, my mouth was dropped open, and I stood for 15 minutes inside my house trying to figure out what the hell to do.
For what story? What in particular are you talking about?
When I saw it run by the house.
Oh.
When I got back in the house, I just stood with my mouth open trying to, I did not know what to do. My body literally went into shock.
Do you really feel like
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, hon.
I was just gonna say because they're in survival mode. They're worrying about their next meal. They're, like Rick said, top of the apex predator in the predator line. They're a top predator.
Well, they can stay away from me, please.
I just find it, when it was running away, I still think it knew exactly where you were.
I'm beginning to think so too, Teresa.
I think it was doing it, wanted you to see it, and did the running away in front of you because it wanted to intimidate you and to get you back out of that house. That's what it's wanting to do. It's wanting that cover again for wintertime.
Yeah, I think it's a little at a time. It's doing just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's trying to accomplish something. What? I don't know.
Well, there's plenty of deer for it to eat around here. Coyotes, fox, possums. I mean, I see them every night, so I don't think it's after me, but because, the animals do get in my yard and stuff, I'm thinking maybe it's chasing a deer or something.
Okay, Darcy, do you have a little firing range set up by your place? Like, set up some targets one day and just start planking, start shooting, shoot at some targets, let it know that you're armed.
Hadn't thought about that.
My biggest concern for you is the doorknob jiggling. That's just a little too damn close.
Yeah, that struck a chord with me too. That's hairy.
I was sleeping on the couch, and so it woke me.
It jiggled it hard enough to wake you up?
Yes.
Huh. Was it locked?
There goes.
Yes, I have a deadbolt on it too.
Well, there you go.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, I would set you up a little firing range there, and throw a couple clips or so through it.
Maybe get a big round, big 12 gauge like a Black Magic Magnum. Set up a couple of watermelons and shoot them because they will just explode all over the place. And if they're watching you, that should be intimidating.
But Rick, wouldn't she be feeding them if she put watermelons out there?
Oh.
Just thinking that.
All right, do water jugs or something that'll make a big spectacle of damage. You know what I'm saying?
You could get some M80s if you wanted to.
Well, that's not a rifle, so you want them to identify that thing she holds in her hand with their chest exploding. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You don't think they'd take that as a taunt?
I don't know.
No, I'd think they'd take it as a warning.
Yeah, get some fireworks.
I think what you're looking at is if there's one that has been shot at by a hunter before, and you get out there, I think it's going to piss him off. However, a regular one is just going to get intimidated. I don't think at worst, he'll come around, and as soon as you step out with that in your hand, he's going to take off. You won't have any problem with them, coming at you anyway. But one that's experienced that is probably going to have a vendetta, and that might make him angry. But the odds of that are pretty slim. I doubt, you're going to happen to run into a Bigfoot that's had that kind of situation.
I was just thinking, behind my home, I know there's a donkey back there. I know there's chickens and roosters and stuff because I can hear it in the morning. Do you think maybe he was down in that area and maybe stole a chicken or something? And maybe the person fired at it and it was running away and I just didn't hear it?
Well, that's the same thing as gifting. I mean, if you got chickens in the yard, that's no different than putting food out there for them because that's what it is. So that's probably why he's around. If you got farm animals
I don't
around,
have chickens, but I can hear them, in the distance in the behind my house.
well,
I'm sure there's homes, back there somewhere.
that's what I'm saying. They're behind your house. Your house is in the path that they're following to go to the chickens and back. That's why they're coming through your yard.
Yeah, you can bet he's stealing chickens.
Is there barns around there, Darcy?
I can't see beyond the bamboo. That's how tall it is. But I can hear the donkey, the roosters, and the chickens. And, every morning when I'm sitting outside.
Okay, they've got to have some sort of shelter for the wintertime, so it's more than likely there are plenty of structures like 10 by 12 barns or whatnot.
I would assume there would be.
Do you ever hear the donkey braying at night?
Yes, I do.
Well, they're a protective animal. A lot of people keep them with their goats and livestock because they'll, they are a sense of protection for them. Of course, it wouldn't do anything with a Bigfoot, but they'll alarm,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was told they calm a herd down. A donkey or a mule will calm a herd down.
Oh, yeah, a donkey. He'll protect anything, and he'll actually go after wolves, cougars, and crap like that. They're not scared.
I forget where I heard it, but I heard that was it a jackass? No, the female that they breed to make jackass. I forget what they call them. It's a specific name. They use those in like horse corrals to keep coyotes and stuff away from the horses. Evidently, they're pretty mean.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Hey, Darcy, I got a question. Is there a window that looks into where you were laying there on your couch asleep near your front door?
Yes, it is. My front door is a glass all the way down, and I have a picture window. But I do have mini blinds up.
Okay, he was probably doing the jiggling on the door to get your attention and to see your reaction, what you would do.
I started cussing.
You should have reached over and grabbed a gun.
I did.
Yeah, because the one I seen whenever when I seen that one at 15, 20 feet, when it walked up on me, I was deer hunting, and when I pulled the hammer back on the 30-30, its expression changed from being aggressive to like, oh crap, now I'm in trouble.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did anybody see Jerry Klein or listen to Jerry Klein's recording of two Bigfoots fighting, and it sounded like, I don't know, I guess it was a couple of sticks, and then he said at the end, well, I won't be a spoiler alert, but that was the reason why they were there.
I think I'm going to check that out. Guys, I'm going to have to go. I've got to charge up my phone. It was great talking to all of you.
All right, Darcy, good night.
Stay safe.
Night.
Good night.
Keep
Stay
packing,
safe.
Darcy.
Stay safe.
Keep that gun beside you at all times, hon.
Damn it, stay safe.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Ralph and Matt. With everything we've talked about, what would you fall down on if what would you come back to as what you would do in a situation where you had to fire? Would you want to have the slugs, the shot, the 30-06, the 45-70? What in your reason?
Well, for me, it depends on how close it is. I mean, if it's like at my door, I would have the 12 gauge slugs.
Matt, I understand that, but the problem is if you're going to use 12 gauge slugs, and this is not against anybody's choice or anything like that. It's just 12 gauge slugs work for uh, making a mess, and they're good for that. But if you want deep penetration through muscle and heavy bone, you're better off with a Magnum or a 4570 of that nature, and but you need a well constructed bullet, because if you don't use a well constructed bullet, all you're going to do is really tick it off, blow muscle away and hair, and that's it. It depends on the construction of the bullet and how big of a gun you can actually handle.
Yeah, Ralph, there's a special forces, a Brennicky special forces breech round, 12 gauge round. That's more powerful than a Black Magic Magnum, but it's made of an alloy that's designed not to basically mushroom as bad. It's designed to penetrate through, like cinder block, 4x4s to that kind of thing. Now, what would you think about that kind of a round?
That would be the round I'd want in a 12 gauge. If it's close quarters, yeah, I would want that, because the size of the animal means it's going to be heavy boned. Its ribs are going to be thick. It's going to have a large uh, muscle structure around the bones. You need something for deep penetration. If it goes in the front, comes out the back, that's fine by me.
As long as it makes a big hole. As long as it makes a big hole on its way, right?
Well, no, a small hole, because their heart is probably something like off-centered like the human heart is. Um, as long as it's destroying tissue and destroying muscle, and the bone's going to shrapnel, and they'll end up tearing out the lungs and tearing up the heart. There'll be shrapnel in the heart and everything else. You stop the inner works, and you stop the animal.
Now,
Well,
wouldn't you
but
have to shoot twice?
Not for a round that's designed for deep penetration, you wouldn't.
Yeah, that Special Forces 12 gauge round would probably be the ticket if you're within, say, 20 feet.
yeah, I think so too. And also, like Rick was saying, everybody's got a breastbone. I'm sure they got a breastbone too, and that's bare meat or bare bone right there in the middle.
Yeah, you don't have to get through any muscle tissue at all. I mean, all you have to do is touch yourself in the middle of your chest where they do the heart, when they pump, when they do CPR. There's no muscle whatsoever there. All you got to get through is the bone, and that's it.
Well, there's actually not no bone there, Rick. It's actually just a
Cartilage, yeah.
A cartilage, yeah.
That's even better.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would be the way to go.
Yeah,
If
if you
I-
center mass it should, with the Bernanke, yeah, you should be able to reach the spine and sever the spine with that.
I think if I was going to shoot once, and I was and I was definitely knowing it was me or him, if I'm going to shoot once, I'm going to shoot more than once.
Well, that's your prerogative, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna empty the gun.
I really don't think I could stop with just one. I think that I would be so out, in mode that I wouldn't be able to stop with one.
You'd be in Rambo mode?
Yes.
Well, like old Bear was saying, man, excuse me, you're in such a fright though. Can you pull the trigger?
Well, I was ready to pull the trigger at 15 or 20 feet, but I'd been hunting for almost 10 years, and Plus, I had a brother in the Air Force at the time, and he would come home, and you know, when I was younger, he would come home and teach us, you know, stick us in situations when we was kids, you know, whether to shoot or not, and stuff like that. And that helped me a lot. And if I seen one today, I wouldn't have a second thought about shooting. If it was coming at me or going to harm one of my boys or one of my kids, oh yeah, not a hesitation whatsoever. The gun would go off, and it would go off many a time.
Yeah, Richard, in the chat, he asked if that was publicly available. Yes, that Special Forces breaching round made by Bernanke is available. You can just buy it in the store.
How much?
Oh, I don't know. It's the same as any other bunch of shotgun shells that you get. It's nothing special.
Yeah, for 5 of them, I think it's $20, or maybe 25 at the most. You can buy them at Cabela's or Gander Mountain or any of the big chain stores.
Or Tractors, not Tractor Supply. What is the other one? I don't remember. But those country stores that sell rounds and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, Rural King's what you're
Stockdale.
Yeah. Rural King, that's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, I thought you meant Stockdale's.
Maybe. I don't know. If they sell rounds, they'll have these.
Well, I think it would be more like, what do you call it? What's the other store that's a distributive or of Cabela's? What's the other one called?
Bass Pro.
Gander Mountain.
Bass Pro, that's it.
Any outfitter.
I've used the Bernankes. If it doesn't penetrate a 4x4 post, I don't use them.
There you go.
I love that Black Magic Magnum round. You shoot 5 rounds off and your shoulders sore, but I love them rounds.
And what gun does this Bernanke Black Magic round fit?
12 gauge shotgun. But like we said, the Bernanke 12 Black Magic Magnum is a good one, but the one that's a little better is the Special Forces breaching round, because it has an alloy slug that's designed not to mushroom as quickly as like any other slug, which is a soft lead. So it penetrates better.
Okay, I need to write all this down.
You can actually take the Bernanke round in the 3-inch shell, because they do make them in a 3-inch now. And you can take a 12 gauge that's got the pistol grip on it and shoot it from your hip.
Hey, good night, Richard. So we got a consensus here that we would recommend that within 20 feet for home defense, basically. You want to have a 12 gauge shotgun with a Bernanke Special Forces breaching round with the alloy slug.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Wait a minute. I gotta write this down.
Yeah, the Bernanke, yeah, the Special Forces round, yeah, for close quarters, yes. But anything else past 20 feet, I would go with a high caliber rifle, either a Magnum or the 4570 government.
Right.
Okay, Rick, tell me again the gun plus what the round is called.
If you're going to buy a gun, you want to get a 12 gauge pump, and you want to get the Bernanke Special Forces breaching round, and it has an alloy.
Bernanke?
What?
How do you
hold on,
spell
and
Bernanke?
Hold on, I'll spell it for you.
BERNAKE. CCI.
Yeah, but can the ladies do the pump action? Maybe they might be better off with an auto loader.
All right. Teresa, it's Brenneke. Brenneke.
Okay, BRE.
Nneke.
Brenneke.
Yeah.
Okay, 12 gauge pump. Brenneke what?
It is the Special Forces breaching round. Or breaching slug, whichever.
Okay, is that all?
Hold on, just let me just look that up so I can tell you the exact breaching. Let's see about that. Here it is.
You don't think they'd have trouble pumping them rounds in instead of an auto loader, Rick?
Well, I mean, if you can get an auto loader, but a 12 gauge pump only costs what, $200? I mean, you can get one pretty cheap. If you can want to go ahead and buy one that's an auto loader, sure. But yeah, it's a Brenneke Special Forces Short Magnum. Oh no, this isn't the right one. This isn't the breaching round. The breaching round has the alloy. This one doesn't. This is the one I thought True to Form was talking about. The breaching round, I think, is the new one. It's a special.
What kind of alloy?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I'm just saying it's the one with the alloy. It's called it's a Special Forces breaching round. Just ask the guy for that.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm 5'10".
You'll be fine with a 12 gauge and 2 3/4.
Oh dear.
Oh, here it is. Oh no, that's Fiocchi. I don't care about that.
Okay, so if I don't hit this thing dead center chest, it's coming after me with those arms. It's dragging itself and it's going to rip my head off.
No. Hit it dead center, it'll drop. If you don't, you're going to mess him up real good. Actually, with the breaching round, like I forget which one Matt or Ralph said, it's probably going to hit its lung, which means he's going to be messed up bad. He might not even get to you. Right, guys?
Yeah, if you hit him in the chest, either to the left or the right of the center, you're going to destroy bone and you're going to destroy the muscle mass in his chest. And it's going to create shrapnel and go throughout both lungs and through the heart.
Most likely. Some people think their muscle and bone is so dense it wouldn't happen, but I think it would. You know, it's just a matter of to what degree.
Same here. I think so too.
Okay, so this is a hypothesis or a theory of mine. So say, for instance, I would shoot a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc. And once I shoot it or shot it, what do you do with it? Do you bury it? Do you report it? Or what?
Sorry.
Teresa, you report it, you may disappear.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is to get rid of the evidence and don't say nothing about it, honey.
Now, what I would do is I would chop pieces off of him. I would take his, his manhood, put it in a plastic baggie. I'd cut off like a finger or two, put them in plastic baggies. I would, take various parts like hair and tissue and that kind of samples, and then I would put that in the freezer, bury him, get rid of him, and then I would contact someone like Jeff Meldrum or the what's that group, guys? Was it the Ape Conservatory that's in the North American Ape? something or other. One of the big.
BRSO?
Oh, hell no. Contact one of these serious guys that are contact Jeff Meldrum and ask him, because he's actually a member of the group I'm trying to remember the name of. And then tell them you want to stay completely anonymous, but you want to make sure it gets to the right people and it gets out there and it doesn't get squashed by the government. And he will do the right thing. He will point you the right direction or get the right people to contact you. And they will do it undercover, because I believe that everyone that he knows, as well as the group he's associated, knows that the government has got their fingers in this. And they will do
Jeff Meldrum?
Yeah, he's the foot guy.
How do you spell his last name?
Meldrum.
Okay, so Meldrum.
Hold on. I'll look it up for you. And he's at the University of Idaho, if I remember right. Yeah, it's Meldrum. And he's the professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University.
Professor of anthropology and what?
Anthropology. It's anatomy and anthropology.
Okay, at Idaho University?
Idaho State University.
Okay.
And he does, he's not one of those guys that doesn't answer any contact and all that stuff. If he will, if you try to get a hold of him, you will. I mean, he might not answer the phone, but you'll get a hold of him.
Sounds like Teresa's going to bag her a fucking Sasquatch.
Yeah, sounds like she's going to go on out looking for him.
The hunt is on.
But are they... Okay, now I have another question. Oh, dear. Okay. What, for instance... I mean, are they considered people or not?
They're not. They don't exist, so nobody considers them anything right now. Right?
Right. They're not considered a human being.
Correct.
If you can shoot a human being because your life is in danger and they're going to do something to you, then I don't see how they can get you for shooting something like that.
Right. But you also don't dismember a human being after you shoot him.
Well, yeah, you got me there.
No, I'm sure you'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen because, first of all, self-defense. And then secondly, it don't exist anyway. So you're going to prove it exists, and then any law will take effect. So you'll be grandfathered in as, before the fact kind of thing.
Yeah, but you also got to consider if the government comes in on this, if they find out, they're going to charge you with killing an animal out of season. They're not going to charge you with killing a Bigfoot. They're going to charge you with killing a bear, which is a big hefty fine and jail time, even in my state where we hunt bear.
I kind of doubt that, because then it would come to the attention of the media, and they're not going to want that. They'll probably come, if they were to get involved and they managed to clean it up again, they would at best come and tell her, don't do that again and don't say nothing. That's the end of it. I don't think they would actually charge her with anything.
I'd never tell.
You got it.
Anybody.
Well, see, I would. But I think the way I just said it nothing's going to happen, because I'm going to contact people in the Bigfoot community who are aware of this and who want to keep it quiet themselves so that they can get this out. So they're going to take as many precautions as they can to make sure that it doesn't happen and all that stuff. So it would get out.
Hey, Rick, you had one of your shows where it says how to force the government to recognize the existence of Bigfoot. Is that what one of them was about?
Yeah.
I got to go back and listen to that.
Oh, that wasn't about this. It was about how to force them to recognize it without killing one. I mean, all you have to do is a class action lawsuit, because the court has to listen to the class action lawsuit. And then when you go in there, because there's a different standard of evidence there than there is trying to just say it's real, and that kind of thing. You can produce, we have enough evidence to submit into a court of law to prove that it's real. It's just you can't get it into the court of law because there is no law that applies. But if you go and you do a class action lawsuit, all of that evidence can be brought in as part of the class action lawsuit. And once it exists in legal record, recognized by a judge, bingo, Bigfoot is real.
So what you're saying is this Jeff Meldrum could initiate the class action lawsuit for the people.
No, anybody could. You just have to get an attorney that'll do it. Actually, Todd Standing did some kind of class action lawsuit in California, I think it was. I didn't hear what happened with that, but I don't think it was exactly what I was talking about, but he did do something like that.
Didn't
Canada.
What was that?
Yeah, that's
What was that, Ralph?
He done that in Canada. He done it in the Canadian courts.
Well, I know he went to the Canadian, whatever they are, like Congress, and that didn't fly. But I heard that he also did some kind of a lawsuit against the government. I'm pretty sure it was in California. Can't be sure, but I know there were two different things. So if you know of two different things, then yeah, you're probably right. It's probably something else, some other place.
Yeah, I read the thing that he done, and he brought it up before the Queen's Court in Canada. That's where he brought the lawsuit.
Is that recently?
Yeah, it didn't happen. I guess maybe a month ago or something of that nature.
Oh, okay, then that is it. Because when he went before their Congress, that was like 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. So yeah, it must have been up in Canada, not California.
Where's Dee Dee tonight?
I don't know. And true to form, didn't stay around. He came in for 5 minutes and left.
Well, he said he had been riding his Harley all day, so he might have fell asleep.
Oh,
But I'll try sending Dee Dee a message if that's okay.
sure. Oh, it must have been when I was taking my dog out that he told you all that. Because he came in just before I let my dog out.
Well, guys, I hate to say this, but I've got to get some sleep. I got to get up around 3 o'clock and go to work.
All right, Ralph, you have a good night.
Later on, Ralph.
Good evening, Ralph.
night.
I hope Dee Dee's not out there trying to call those Bigfoots again.
Yeah. I hope she didn't get it.
Yeah, really, because that place, that eerie looking green, that green down there, that is creepy.
Well, that, and she's out there with that kind of activity, and as I understand it, that where she's at is kind of secluded. I mean, she might have got more than she bargained for.
Ugh.
Yeah, Brian, it's pretty much everywhere. It's been in every state in the country except for Hawaii.
Hi, Amy.
Hey, Teresa, I said hi earlier.
Yes, ma'am, I heard you. I just wanted to let you know I was acknowledging you.
Yeah, I've just been sitting back taking it all in.
Yeah, we'll wait a few minutes and see if Dee Dee pops in. If not, we'll go ahead and close everything out. Well, at least the YouTube show.
I'm going to go send her a message. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, Freaky Nasty, he says, it's just a hand, that's not dismemberment. No, but I said take his manhood too. That would be probably frowned upon.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I thought you.
Go ahead.
I thought for sure you was going to say take his manhood, put it in a baggie, and then take it out and nail it on a tree and leave it for all the other ones.
You might just piss him off if you do that, but yeah, that would probably have some effect, I'm sure. But see, for me, you take that part of him, and that is probably going to have so many different types of samples for scientists to study. You know what I mean? You get a sperm sample, you get blood samples, you get hair sample. You know, you have an anatomical reference without having the whole body.
Yeah, most definitely.
You could take a whole hand. See, I thought, oh, just take a hand. But it's not that easy to take a human hand off, let alone a Sasquatch hand. I mean, it takes some effort.
He's talking about cutting it up. I'm 5'2". I could just see me. I'd have to have a something because 5'2". There ain't no way.
Well, see, that's my other point. If as long as you have a knife, you can get that thing off. It's all just soft tissue. You just cut it right off. But taking a hand, that's hard for a man, a grown man to do. Not easy to do. So it's easier to go after that part, you know. And it's really the only part you can go after. Other than, like, I don't know, you slice a little skin off or something, maybe take an ear, you know. But none of that's really going to have as much of a scientific value, I don't think. It'd probably be best to ask. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about your adrenaline, at that point. I mean, here you shot the thing dead, and then now you're going to cut on it. And I'm just wondering, man, you may be cutting his manhood off, but boy, you better have a big set of your own.
Yeah. Well, see, it's the quickest to get off, too. So if he's got friends, he can probably succeed. Just go whoosh, throw it in a bag and take off running, And they're going to come and get him and carry him off, like the ones that Hanobia did. And by the time they're going to take him off out in the woods somewhere, before they go, what the hell? Did you see what she took? But,
I really think that no matter what, there is just no scenario that you're going to come out on top of. Because I really do believe that you see one, there's more.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I would just bury it and then years later have somebody come out and dig it up.
Now, I don't think that in every case there's multiples, but I think the majority of the time, but whether there's multiples that will see what you're doing or not is another story. Because I do think that even if they live in multiples, they do go out on their own. That's why you hear them doing calls back and forth. They're trying to tell each other where they are and stuff. So they're not going to be able to see what's going on. The only time that they come together is if they're going after some, like, deer or whatever. They're gonna run them into a choke point and kill them and that kind of thing. I do believe that they go out and they check stuff out by themselves. So
Well, the sentries probably are not around the family group because they're sentries.
Yeah, they're strategically placed at access points so that nobody can get past them. Yeah.
I wouldn't shoot one anyway unless it came up and threatened me. I just carry my 12 gauge. I mean, there's other things in the woods that'll hurt you besides a Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is that if I had to and I took one down, that's what I would do. I would take something so that I could prove it. I mean, if I already did, why let his wife go to waste instead of taking something that can prove to science that he existed? That way he didn't die in vain.
Yeah, exactly. If I felt that I wasn't threatened, that there were others around, I would certainly try to grab something.
Yeah. Now, if I knew, like if I heard cracks in the forest around me, no, I would be backing off and getting out of there. But if I thought, okay, I'm pretty safe, I'm going to go ahead and take this and go, that's what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
So, Teresa, did you get a hold of Dee Dee?
Still trying. I'm typing now, but I don't know her like how we all have a 4 numeral number.
Oh, well.
I guess do we just put in DD Metro No?
Where did she go? Why isn't she showing in the list anymore up here where she should be?
Should be able to do it right in the lobby.
Yeah, actually, I got it right here. Let me send her a message.
That's what I've been doing, typing for the last 5 minutes. I'm slow typer.
But you said you didn't know her how to get the message to her, right?
I know when her name shows up in Town Hall or either in the chat hall, it says DD Metro No.
Right. And did you click on that to send the message?
No, I just went into the lobby and started sending a message. Typing, "Hey, DD, just wondering if you were going to join in tonight's broadcast, October 21st, Sunday."
Yeah, I just sent her a message. You must be on a phone. I actually see her on the side here. I just click her name and I can send her a message directly.
While we wait, I'd like to ask something about some old news.
What's that?
Well, about the little girl getting snatched.
The one at LBL or the one that I talk about getting picked up out of her backyard?
The one that was on the bed and the arm comes through the curtain and grabs her.
Yeah, the hoax, okay. Or it's not really a hoax. I think they just did it to do it.
Do you?
Why? Did you hear something else?
No, it's just I've watched it over and over, just trying to figure it out. And, you talk about it being a crib, why couldn't it be like an old camper?
Oh, you didn't you weren't in here when I think it was Amy that found the video of the people who made it where they talked, it was actually all staged.
Ah, no, I wasn't.
No, I think it was Teresa.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, though, it's still frightening to see that. Dang.
Yeah, it was shocking. It was well done. I'd still want to know how he didn't hurt that kid.
Thing of it is, it's probably actually, as far as the kid getting snatched, it's a good possibility it has happened somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there's a story I tell in one of my videos about the girl that got grabbed out of her backyard. Her dad was standing there having coffee, there she goes. You know, so it happens. I wish I could find that, because that would be something to put on here, the interview or whatever. I can't even remember if it was an article or an interview. It was so long ago. Yeah, I'm sure that father was just destroyed.
That's just plain scary.
I worry about that all the time because my daughter takes my grandkids in the woods. Well, she and her husband.
Yeah.
And they're like 4, 3, and 1 year old, and don't pack any kind of heat. And she's got to where she doesn't even tell me when she goes hiking because she knows I'll be a nuisance.
You know, I've got 3 daughters, and when they were growing up, they were in grade school, and we had woods behind us, and we had quite a bit, and it'd been logged, and the kids used to love to go back in them woods and get on those logging trails, or whatever you want to call them and stuff, and they'd be gone for a long time. And now, you think back on it, well, they're all grown now and everything, but still, you think back on it, a lot can happen.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that the population is increasing. Just imagine how much more prevalent these kinds of things are going to get as time goes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, kids our age, when we were kids, they were so few and far between. The odds weren't. It wasn't likely that you were going to get snatched up by one, or even see one. Now I happen to, but it's fairly rare. Now it's not so rare. I don't think. I think it's much more prevalent now than it was then, and it's just going to get worse.
The thing about my daughter is the place that they go hiking, it's, local. It's up on Fernand's Saddle. And there have been several sightings up there. And actually, I went up there once to pick berries, and no sooner got up the hill than I got the creeps. So if that happens to me in the woods, I just leave.
Most definitely. That's what I always did when I was in the woods. I love the woods. I love being in the woods by myself, and always carried. But man, you get that feeling. You get out.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, one day, your daughter, if she keeps going to places like that, is going to come to you, and she's going to say, I saw one.
No doubt about it, Rick. No doubt.
Just a matter of time.
Well, I hope she doesn't come to me and say one of my grandkids is gone, because I'm going to be pissed.
That's very disturbing to think about. That disturbs me, man.
Okay, Teresa, you're unmuted now. I don't know why it keeps muting people like that.
What does your daughter think when you talk about it, and you talk about her going up there with the kids and everything? What did she say about it?
Well, I don't think that she really believes Bigfoot is out there, even though I've told her the stories. But I told her cougars, were out there, and I've been up there with them on the saddle before, and they had taken off, and I was too tired, and I just sat down on a stump and saw a black bear walk right across, a stone's throw away. It's like, be safe. I keep trying to tell her, but she's ignoring me. I don't know what else to do but go up and guard them.
There you go, Teresa. It didn't take the first time.
Thank you very much.
I never told anybody. And, we talked about it the other night. And one of my daughters was home yesterday, and they all live away. And we had gone out to eat. And she would be, out of the three, she would be the most approachable. And I almost said something to her, and just to see what she would say, but I didn't bring it up.
What, she's the most approachable about listening about Bigfoot? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she'd be the more open-minded than the other two.
How old is she?
Well, she's 42 now.
Oh, okay. Well, why not talk to her? Unless you think she's going to think you're crazy or something.
Well, they already think that, so it's not like that's anything new.
Yeah, that started when they were teenagers, though, right? So I haven't heard back from Dee Dee. Have you, Teresa?
Nope, not yet. But I could check in the lobby, I guess.
I can see the lobby. Yeah, she's not in here.
Okay.
I can actually tell when she comes online. She's not even online.
Did she say she had to work or
It's Sunday.
do something?
It's Sunday. No, as far as I know, she's just over at her boyfriend's place. Actually, she's probably on her way home.
Asleep.
And maybe she figures we're going to be on tonight, but well, I put that schedule up yesterday, so I don't know. Maybe she got it. I am joking.
Maybe she what?
Got it.
Oh dear, no.
I'm joking. I don't think she did, but although it is a little concerning that she hasn't showed up, actually, to be honest.
Disconcerting?
Concerning, disconcerting, either one, yeah.
Yeah, she's always just so, like, right on time, with everybody.
Well, and she's usually online in Discord, and this is the first time I've seen that she's not online. So
I know, but she loves this forum, this podcast, just like I do.
Right.
It just, it's a chance to talk about what you can learn and what you know and what you don't know.
And just talk in general, yeah. But
It's kind of quiet without her and Brett.
Yeah, I know. That's why earlier I was like, who's missing? Because it seems something's not right. But yeah, honestly, I am a little concerned because the activity that she had. And as blatant as she was about going out there and making noises and stuff. I mean, she should be all right, but like I said, if that happens to be the wrong Bigfoot, they might have had a hell of a night.
Yeah, you just never know.
So I am a little concerned because it's unlike her not to be here.
Yeah, because she usually sends me a notification, you coming online? It comes through my phone. I'm like, oh shit, they're on.
Yeah, she sent me a message yesterday or day before and asked me was I going to be there. And then I think little Teresa, little T, asked me too. And I told her I'd hear her on here.
She asked you if you were going to be on tonight?
Yeah, little T, little Teresa.
What, did Dee Dee? Is that because you said Dee Dee?
No.
Okay.
No. Little T.
Yeah, I didn't see her in here at all.
Her mic is muted too for some reason.
I don't know why it's muted. Oh, it's not on my side, it's hers.
There she is.
There's little T.
Yep, I'm here.
Huh. All right, folks, I'm going to close out the YouTube show.
Yeah, I imagine you need to catch up on some rest.
I slept for most of the day. Okay, folks, if you want to support the channel, there is the link right there to my Patreon. If you'd like to help me bring more content and do this more full time, there's the Patreon. And until next time, y'all take it easy.
Have a good night. Good evening.
Later.